Attention all tightwads, our next guest says there's never a reason to leave a restaurant without giving a gratuity. Etiquette expert Elaine Swann is here to share her tips for tipping. Thanks for coming back.
Glad to be here.
You know, now, I know some people, when they don't get good service, they're tempted just to not leave a tip at all because, you know, you might be a little angry, maybe your steak came out well done and you ordered it medium rare, or, you know, the waiter or waitress wasn't as attentive. You say never the right thing to do.
It's never the right thing to do to forego leaving a tip for a server, because one of the things you have to keep in mind is this is how the wait staff earns their money. They're not getting paid like minimum wage, or in fact they're getting below minimum wage, and so this is literally their salary, and so it's almost like you're stealing from them when you don't leave them anything at all. Now, there's nothing wrong with reducing your tip based upon the service, but you have to make it known as to why you're doing it, because then if not, then the server just thinks that you're being cheap or a tightwad, like you said.
Yeah, you know, I remember when I was 19 and I was a waiter. I was a waiter for about 4 months, and a guy asked me for Tabasco. You know, and after I gave him his meal, and I forgot the Tabasco, and I came back about 15 minutes later, and I said, "Oh my," I said, "Everything's okay?" And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "It's great, but you forgot the Tabasco." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'll go get it." And he said, "That's okay. I'll just take it out of your tip." I was just,
wow.
okay, sorry. But he did leave a tip. That's what I remember. He left. It was a $30 bill, and he left $3. So he gave me, you know, 10%.
10%, right? Yeah. Instead of the 15 or 20. So,
right.
Well, his what he felt kind of reflected in his tip, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
And you say that, you know, if you do have concerns, talk to a manager about it.
Right. That's regardless of how bad the service is, you should always leave a tip. That's the #1 thing. But if you decide that you're going to, if you are dissatisfied with the service, you can allow that to reflect in the actual tip that you leave. And most importantly, like you said, let the service persons know. For example, the manager. You can either let your server know, you know what, I really wasn't happy with the service, or either let the manager know, this is what happened, this is what I'm doing, and I just want to let you know that this is going to reflect in my tip. So,
and you know, another thing we see on the screen, if you have a coupon.
Right.
A lot of people forget about this.
They forget about it. If you have a coupon or even a gift certificate that's going to take off some sort of dollar amount with your bill, you still leave the amount of tip that it would have been before the discount was applied. So, for example, if it was a $30 service and you got $5 off, you still leave a tip based on that $30.
And what about those countertop tip jars?
Okay, so this is a big controversy, and some people think that you should, and I'm just going to stand my ground and say that's a big no. When you're at, say for example, you're at a coffee shop or some fast food place or what have you, those individuals are earning at least minimum wage. They're getting an hourly salary, whereas with the waiters and wait staff, they're not getting that hourly salary. So those tip jars are no, you don't have to do that. So don't feel compelled to do so, and you probably shouldn't anyway.
What if you're getting a sandwich, though? Maybe you're getting a meal. You know, I have a place that a favorite sandwich place that I go to, and you know, they have the tip jar up there, and I always put something in it because, you know, I know those guys. I feel obligated to leave them a tip.
Well, here's the thing. You should not feel obligated to do so. You don't have to leave a tip to those individuals if you choose to do so. So, for example, if you go to a restaurant and you sit down and eat, and that server brings you your drink and brings you your food and takes care of you for the whole hour and a half that you're there, you're paying their salary. You're paying for your time for them, for being there with them for an hour and a half. On the flip side, the person behind the counter making the service, regardless if you come or not, they're going to still make their money. So you don't have to feel obligated to leave that tip. It's okay. You sound like a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being nice.
I want to make sure I don't get shorted on the meat, too.
But no, you're not, because they're going to get their salary regardless, and so it's a little different.
Okay, let's talk about personal grooming.
Okay.
Hairstylists, massage.
Things like that. Anything,
How much?
at least 15% that you want to leave for people who are providing a personal service for you. So you go in, and it really also depends on the service as well. So if you feel like you can't afford to leave a tip on or a $120 service, then perhaps you should just go ahead and cut back on the type of service that you're getting, so that way you still leave an ample amount of tip.
What about, this is something I was looking at the list you sent over, the dog groomer and the maid. I mean, you know, a lot of people have pets. They take their pets in for haircuts, you know.
It's a good idea to leave them a tip too. Same thing, anywhere from 10 to 15% for the dog groomer, for the maid. Now, if you're talking about a maid, say for example you're staying at a hotel, anywhere from $1 to $3 per day is what you should leave for a tip. And the best thing to do is to just leave that tip at the end of your stay. So,
does the $1 or $3 depend on the scale of the hotel? You know, if it's a 3-star or a 5-star, you're going to leave a different amount?
That along with the service itself. One of the things that I try to do, I travel quite a bit, is I always talk to the maid, whoever I see, and find out, are you here all this week? Because then I know, okay, I'm here for 5 days, but this person is only going to be here for 3, and then the other one for 2. So we're looking at the type of service and who you're leaving it for.
And you want to make sure you're leaving it for that person.
For that person.
If that person's going to clean
your room.
So
find out if they're leaving on Wednesday, but you're staying till Friday. Leave that tip on Wednesday for whoever took care of you, and then the rest of your portion on that Friday.
Okay, staying in the hotel. What about the bell captain? What about the the guy? He's the same guy who maybe takes your bags in.
Exactly, $1 to $2 per bag is a good tip.
In and out.
In and out, absolutely. Because a lot of times you're not going to get the same person when you're coming as when you're going.
And then at the airport.
Yes.
This is something I use the SkyCap a lot because I fly Southwest a lot for short trips, and you want to give them to the SkyCap because sometimes it saves you time. I notice a lot of people don't leave tips for their bags.
What you see happening is a lot of airlines have started to add the tip on too. So check with your airline individually and see. If you see people not leaving tips, it may be because they know that that particular price is already built in. So you'll see that sometimes on your ticket or what have you. So check with the airline and see if that price isn't already built in for the SkyCap. Then go ahead, definitely give them again $1 or $2 per bag.
Okay, what about the shuttle driver? Maybe the hotel courtesy shuttle driver, or maybe it's a paid shuttle driver. How much for them? Anywhere
from $2 to $5 for the shuttle driver. Especially if there's 2 people. We just took a trip and went to a conference a couple weeks ago, and so my husband and I were going back and forth, and we left them $5 just going kind of each way, and so they're really good. But anywhere from $2 to $3 again for the shuttle driver. That's important. It's just really important to take care of those individuals because you never know if you're out on a trip and that might be the person that will say, you know what, I'll go ahead and run you up the street to the drugstore really quickly and bring you back. And so it's nice to be nice. Yeah.
All right, now you have another event coming up. It doesn't have to do with tipping.
It does, actually. It's a dining etiquette workshop.
Dining etiquette,
yes, right now. It is more than tipping. Tonight at Tapenade, right here in La Jolla. And here we got a couple of spaces left. So if anyone that's interested in attending, I can teach you how to eat properly. And it's a great restaurant, great atmosphere, and needless to say, the price includes the tip. And your meal, yeah.
Perfect. You don't have to tip on that one. All right,
no.
Elaine Swann, etiquette expert. Thank you so much for coming back. Some great information, a lot of questions people want to have answered.
Yes, absolutely.
How much do you give?
Yeah.
All right, well, for more information, as always, you can go to our website, sandiego6.com. Could your child cash in on a career in books? We'll show you one author who hasn't even made it to middle school yet. That's when STL comes right back.